Most of this game wasn't even that bad. Until this part. What was that? There we go. What? Of course, as soon as I get to it, I die. Or just stand there. Yeah, that's great. Hi, I'm Matt, and we're trying to beat Uncharted 2 on brutal difficulty. We're starting here on chapter 15, and we've come full circle with 360 deaths. So, let's go. No, really, because chapter 15 is where the story connects back to chapter 1. We make our way up this train, again, but thankfully this time the game lets us skip going through all the train wreckage and instead spits us out into the mouth of this very big, snowy arena. Honestly though, the snow helps a lot here. It drastically lowers visibility, so we're able to sneak attack the first few enemies, but that's where this plan falls apart. Let's climb up here, make sure no one's gonna see us. Oh, my first problem is that there isn't a checkpoint between stages 1 and 2. Oh, it's gonna start us from here again? That's not even gonna be a checkpoint. Meaning you have to completely redo the stealth in the first wave just to get a chance at the second wave. My second problem is that while you can technically blind fire while hanging off the edge of the train, you just shouldn't. What was that? Dude. And the third problem I have is that you're not subscribed yet. What's going on with that? Okay, but it's actually that I've died twice in the exact same spot in the second wave. We're actually in a really good position to... Damn it.
A few moments later.
Okay, and they totally all just got me right there. That's when I came up with the best strategy ever, though. Well, what I can do, actually, is I can just throw a bunch of propane tanks here. I'm gonna try that, actually. You've heard of barrelmancy, but now get ready for propane-mancy. That's right. In all my deaths so far, I noticed that there was a good amount of propane tanks just scattered around. So before I took out all of the first wave, I threw 2 propane tanks right here, right where the second wave of enemies spawn in. Then, I carefully took out the rest of the first wave and immediately shot the propane tanks, which took out a good amount of enemies. All I had to do was then throw a grenade to take out the rest of them. Wave 3 started, and I didn't really make it all that much farther, but at least I did make it to a checkpoint. Please tell me that was a checkpoint. I don't want to do this all from the start. Okay, cool. And to be honest, this checkpoint is doing a lot of emotional support. But we're good. You don't see me? Damn it, dude. Can I skip this whole area? A few deaths later, and I throw a grenade into the third wave, which takes out basically all of them. But then I died to a brute that I barely even saw. But this means we made it to the fourth wave, and another checkpoint. Let's go! It took another death to realize that all 3 brutes of the fourth wave converge onto the same point. So with the little amount of time I had, it's back to barrelmancy, baby. I grabbed a propane tank and tossed it right here. Then I also grabbed 2 grenades. From there, all I had to do was simply wait for the brutes to come by, and I threw both grenades back to back, which heavily damaged 2 of them and outright killed 1. Then I just had to put a lot of bullets down range, and eventually they got the message. And up to this point, I'm feeling good. Come on, let's go, dude. Then, with absolutely 0 indication, Nate remembers that he's injured from, oh, I don't know, just surviving a whole ass train wreck. This means the game slows you way down, and that actually makes rolling to the next chapter the quicker option. This is now the easiest, or quickest way to move around. There we go. Chapter 16. Where am I? After the commotion of the last couple of chapters, it makes sense that this chapter actually starts super peacefully. We find out that we've been saved and brought back to health by Tenzin, who's easily one of the most badass characters in the whole series, and honestly, probably my favorite character too. We slowly meander through this village and kick a ball back to some kids. You know, thinking about it, I'm surprised last chapter was as easy as it was and ended as abruptly as it did. Oh, would you look at that? Looks like this chapter does too. Chapter 17, Mountaineering. Cool. Chapter 17 is mostly platforming and Tenzin showing off his epic grappling skills.
Good luck, Belle. That's almost impossible to...
Oh, you did it. Nice. Then we examine an abandoned campsite, and Tenzin suggests we follow a wolf pack deeper into this cave. Like, that's the smartest option. But honestly, nothing here is ruining my day. Yet. Because then we spy a dead body with a folded note on it, but we barely have any time to look at it because it's on an ice bridge that's currently collapsing. Luckily, Nate and Tenzin are okay, but that does mean we have to look for a new way around. Nate loses this rock, paper, scissors with Tenzin, so that means he gets boosted up this time, and we have to climb around these ice bluffs that totally aren't slippery or frostbite inducing at all.
Yeah, I trust all these snow bluffs.
One thing I do genuinely appreciate about this chapter is that Tenzin walks at a normal speed. I feel like most follow the NPC missions are just glorified walking simulators, but this one isn't.
Oh my god, my baby is stuck in a tree. Is there anyone around who can save her?
Aha! I can!
Thank you so much. If you save her from this tree, I'll reward you with 5 gold coins.
Please lead the way, miss. Are you going to show me where your baby is stuck in a tree?
Yes, right this way. Please follow me and please save my one and only baby.
Okay, well I'm going this way, so is the tree in this direction?
My baby is only a few months old. She could die if she fell from this height.
I don't care. This is just a side quest. I'm trying to complete this area. I'm just trying to save your baby to get the money and hop down.
Please, oh please save my baby, please.
After discovering that the wolves we've been following are dead now, we get split up from Tenzin by falling icicles. We walk through the coldest water imaginable, which I bet would just hit extra hard at 2 a.m., before finding a gun and then getting surprise attacked by this Yeti-like enemy called the Guardian.
Oh no, there's a big scary guy.
I am able to outrun him for a bit, but standing too close to him is definitely a bad idea.
Okay, no, he definitely got me. If you stand too close, he will get you.
The only real way through this section is to shoot it an ungodly amount of times and sadly take some damage. Eventually though, after shooting it directly in the face way too many times, it'll slap your gun away. This will cause Tenzin to rise from the dead like he's the fucking Undertaker, jump on its back, and stab it repeatedly in the neck. This is enough of an inconvenience where it'll finally leave us alone. Then, after catching our breaths,
Dude.
we take the first set of stairs we see into the next chapter.
Hey, chapter 18, Heart of Ice.
Chapter 18 starts with the big puzzle that sadly splits us up from Tenzin again. We climb timed statue heads, flip levers for each other, and cross massive moving machinery that's still somehow operational after like hundreds of years. But don't let the simplicity of this section fool you. It can still be kinda tricky.
You didn't grab that? Like, why can't he grab one? Don't kill me. Dude, seriously? That's awesome. Hey, thank you, Drake.
After finally making it through to the other side, we jump through this pretty easy maze before meeting back up again with Tenzin and heading into this big circular room that just happens to have a bunch of weapons in it. You know what that means. More Guardians! Yay!
We are getting the hell out of here now. This is crazy.
This part seems more difficult than it is because all you actually have to do is just run around and avoid being hit. It's that simple. Not too long after, the elevator descends and we jump onto it to escape, but then a Guardian grabs a hold of Nate's leg. Miraculously, Nate doesn't shoot off his own foot and dispels the Guardian, allowing the elevator to safely bring us into the next chapter.
And destroying the whole floor, never to be seen again. Chapter 19, Siege.
Right out the gate, we encounter some enemies, and at the same time, we're introduced to the crossbow, which is an incredible weapon because it one-shots enemies.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
This is going to prove to be very useful because it turns out this whole chapter is just one big firefight.
Why were you not ducking? Okay. God headshot it. Immediately. I just spawned in.
The strategy right now is to go left, take out the enemy turret, and then use it on everyone else. This is a great idea, in theory, but it absolutely does not work. Like here, I throw a grenade to take out the turret enemy, but then another enemy just takes his place. I have no idea what to do, but seeing Tenzin tank this turret fire from point blank range gives me the motivation I need to jump this barrier and take out the turret enemy
You're done.
and immediately get killed.
There we go. What? Of course, as soon as I get to it, I die.
But it's the courage that counts, right?
Dude, of course, it's gonna start me from here. Oh, it's so intense, though.
Up until now, this felt pretty reasonable. But yeah,
dude. Oh my God.
this is the part that I was talking about. As you can see, it's going super well for me. This actually reminds me of those Mario Maker levels where it's basically impossible to get through because there's a turret in front of me, shooting from the left, grenades from the right, and here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
I don't even know who got me, but like I didn't know what I was really gonna be doing there.
And here, I thought I was making good progress when I died to an enemy I didn't even see, making death 400 completely unremarkable.
Who was that? There was no one.
The video game gods must have been looking down upon me though, because out of nowhere, I have the run I've been waiting for. I take out all the enemies on the left first before climbing this building on the right and taking out all the enemies here too, including the enemies down the middle. The game will reward you with a small breather, but it's not over yet. So next I go back left to take out some more enemies there, and then I use the turret to take out the final enemies in the middle. Or at least I would if it was actually bulletproof.
I don't know how they can shoot me through that, and I bet you it's gonna start me from the whole thing again.
A couple deaths later, and this is the run I've been waiting for. I follow the same strategy as the last good run, left, then right, center, then left, and I make sure not to use the turret this time. The final wave of enemies walks down the center, and this should be a piece of cake. Just as we've done with many other brutes at this point, we just throw 2 grenades to take him out and use the rest on the other enemies in the arena.
Got him.
Then we shoot all of them, and all we have left now is walk through here.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, you've gotta be kidding me.
Are you serious?
They were just standing there, dude. Come on, why couldn't I? Fine.
I didn't even like
Okay, whatever. Let's just do this again then. It takes another 10 deaths or half an hour of real time, but I'm finally able to get back to where I was. I carefully snipe enemies using the pistol, I don't come close to using the turret, and I still use 2 grenades on the brute at the end. Then I use alternative cover right here to take out those enemies that got me last time.
Got him.
And then we're finally able to... No, never mind. Our path actually just got blocked. So then we take out this group of enemies and continue forward until Tenzin finds a door that he can break open. And this takes us to
Oh, alright. Cool.
more enemies. God, this is such a long chapter. So we climb up and out of this building and into another arena that spans multiple rooftops.
Rather difficult. Or just stand there. Yeah. That's great. Don't know where he came from. Alright, take that though. And I die.
After a few deaths, I get the strategy down. To get through this, I again mainly use a pistol to snipe everyone and use 2 grenades on the brute.
There we go.
A reason to be cautious here though is that a new wave of enemies will spawn every time you get closer to the ground, including right when you're on the ground, standing in front of this building. But frankly, you can just throw a grenade right as they spawn in and take most of them out.
Damn it, didn't mean to throw that second one.
And then finally, we open this building and climb this ladder into the death recap. This episode was honestly pretty fine right up until the end. Starting us off, chapter 15 gave us 13 deaths, which really isn't that bad. Chapter 16 then dropped us to 0 deaths, which is just freaking crazy, because now we have 4 chapters this game with 0 deaths. Chapter 17 bumped it up a little bit with 2 deaths, and chapter 18 bumped us up a little more with 4 deaths. But then, chapter 19 came along and gave us a whopping 61 deaths, making it the second highest death toll per chapter. It's still just behind chapter 4, which has 65 deaths, but it beat out Chapter 3, which had 58. This gives us an episode total of 80 deaths, which is honestly one of the lowest so far, but a series total so far of 440 deaths. Despite the amount of times that I died to that final stupid arena, I think I'm gonna have to give the dumbest death to when I jumped onto Tenzin's back, and he had the gall to drop me into the void.
Dude, Tenzin, WTF.
So yeah, most of this was fine. Chapter 19 was not. It took another death, but I realized all 3 brutes of the fourth wage futures waiting on robots and having robots do all this shit. You ain't never gonna get me down, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You ain't never gonna get. Chapter 18 starts with another big. Fuck! Cool beans. Cool.